Hello, Mark Rudd Larsen here for the Dream Catcher podcast. Thanks for joining me. So today is just me doing this. God directed me to do this today, right now, actually, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I do all these awesome guests, and it is cool what they're doing. I admire and love the contact and all that stuff that I get to have with meeting these people, and but I still see majority of the people not catching their dreams, not even living a very great life, and and I think a lot of that goes with lots going on in our country. And I'm basically this is towards the United States because don't know what's going on in the rest of the world really, and just a little bit I talk to people, but I think a lot of it is United States, maybe Canada. I'm not for sure, but most people aren't catching their dreams, and the dream. Most people have a dream, and or dreams, and it's with something you just can't stop thinking about. Maybe you've thought about it since you were little, and or maybe it's something new that you discover is like that's it, and it is something that you just can't let go. It's your every waking moment. It's like I could do something with that, or I could build this, or whatever it is. That is a good sign that that is a dream that you're supposed to pursue, and kind of like this. My dream, among other things, is travel the world and stuff like that. My dream is actually to do these podcasts in person, wherever I'm at in the world. That would be so awesome because I get to meet the people in person, and then get to see the area. And it's best education there is. But I see so many people, maybe not so much in central Nebraska, although it's still here. I just, there's some people that there's no way they could do their dreams. They're barely making it through day to day. And I can relate with that. With the expenses that Cheryl and I've had, it would take you down. You'd have to have an awful lot of money not to have it take you down. Medical expenses, there's so many reasons that are very expensive that take about every cent you have. And once you have down to zero or less, it's hard to dig out of that hole. And the chances of you catching your dream, although not impossible, are very difficult. And I don't like seeing people in that position because, like I've said many times in this podcast, is God gave you the dreams for a reason, and He gave you a way to do those dreams. And like I've said, probably not easy because it has to build you into the person that you will need to be to get the dream and to keep it. Like I said in a previous podcast a while back, it's kind of doing the negative things can be looked at as strength training. And it's the way I look at it now. Because when this all started happening, I was a good person, I paid my bills, all the quote unquote, what they really want, society wants you to do. But society wants you to do that because it's good on their part, maybe not so good for you. And it keeps you also with a ring in your nose because you never can get quite over that, that bump, that where you see that's like, I'm going to get my dreams because and it's just, we need to, for one thing, help each other. And this is being recorded right before November 1st when people are going to maybe lose their SNAP benefits and all this. And I feel for them greatly. They've got to be scared to death. And, but people are saying, well, the government needs to get their act together because these people need food. And, they do need food, no doubt on that. But the government was never put into place to do that. And the government is you and I. And we need, when the Depression was going on in the 30s, which I was not there, but what I've read and, discovered is people helped each other. There was hardly any food. Somebody was raising something, they, helped another person or whatever it was. And I don't know if we need to go back to that extreme, but we need to get to helping each other again. And we need to get to know our neighbors. So many people don't know their neighbors. And that's one thing I like where I live in Nebraska. I know my neighbors. And it's been great. Whenever Cheryl and I've had issues, they've really stepped up to the plate. I mean, when we had no power a few years back, quite a few years back, for almost not 2.5 weeks, something like that. These people made sure that Cheryl and I were all right. And that's one reason why you need to get to know your neighbors. No man is an island. No woman is an island. You have to have the support of the surrounding people, the world. That's what God put you here for. You just cannot be by yourself. We're meant to be. We're social animals. And we're supposed to interact. And today's world, which I can say, I'm contributing to it by doing these podcasts and my posts on Facebook and whatever, have kept us from really reaching out and doing the social things. When I grew up, kids played out, without fear. They've got so much fear, instilled in all of us, to control you. But kids didn't have to have, and I think that is one thing. Germany, 13, you have to be a certain age to get a phone. I think that has to be mandatory around the world, if not later in life. Maybe when you can first get your driver's license. I don't know what the perfect age would be, if there is one. But kids need to interact. And I don't think daycare, I know some people abuse daycare. Daycare is there for a reason, because people are trying to make enough money to live, and we need to make it. It needs to become, not make it. We can't make anything. Become where one of the parents needs to stay home. It needs to get back to. You're probably thinking, "Oh, Mark, you're getting old." When I was growing up, my mom was around all the time. And I don't care if dad's around, mom's around, whatever, who's around. You need somebody to be around so that kid, that child, when they're not in school, can have an adult at home or in an apartment or wherever they're at. And we need to get back to that. We need less phones. The phones are a nice tool, but way over abused, especially when parents give the kid give them to them almost when they're babies. Oh, that's so bad for your brain too. And but they don't learn learn how to socialize. And thankfully in Nebraska, we still do it a lot. I think that's why people think we're nice. We are nice. We still talk, and there are going to be the people that aren't going to anywhere you go. But in general, people in Nebraska are pretty awesome. And I've been to other places, and they, that's one thing in Little Italy, when Cheryl and I went there 2 years ago. The people in Italy were very awesome too. I thought they were very friendly. But I think people in Italy definitely get it more than the people in the United States overall. But I think part of, I wonder if things were where you didn't have to have such expenses, that if one of the parents would stay home. Now, I'm not saying everybody would probably do that, but wouldn't it be great to raise your own children, instill your values with those children? Like my parents did, like my, previous generations did. Right now, I'm not going to knock daycares. You don't have anybody instilling those values, or what needs to be, what is the social norms, what they need to be. You need to reach out to the person. You need to help people. And that's what we need to do if this comes to fruition on November 1st, where people are losing their benefits. We need to help each other. And I know there's more and more, and it's inspiring, and I love it. But we need to get back to, I think we need to get back to living in the present. That's another thing. The phones have made it so we're addicted, and it's no other word. It's definitely an addiction. I have to fight it. I know Cheryl has to fight it. It's too easy to scroll, doom scrolling, and it's aptly named, because an hour goes by, 2 hours a day. You could be on social media. You could be watching podcasts too. Not saying I'm above this, and I hope with my podcast and anything posts I do that I help you think differently, and maybe more positively. And that's why I do this podcast. But I go everywhere. But one thing I've noticed when I go to the gym, not very many people are really working out. Most of the people are sitting on the machine or whatever they're doing by the machine, scrolling on their phone. And it's like, so why did you come here? I thought to work out, and I don't, just say, Mark, we've seen you take pictures there. Yeah, I take pictures, but I'm still working out. I don't sit there because there's other people who want to use those machines. And I know I've talked to this place where I go to, that they know they have a problem. And I don't know what the solution is there, but people need to stay in the moment. In the moment, they're supposed to be working out, not on their phone. And if they need to go on their phone, they need to go to the other side of the room or another place and use their phone and let somebody else use the machine. And that is just one incident that I've noticed that people are never in the moment and don't do multitasking. Multitasking is BS. You do one thing and you concentrate on one thing. This thing, that's just the government controlling. You got to be, grind, and grinding is BS too. And you have to, like Joyce Meyer said, work peacefully. God doesn't want you to grind. I mean, I should know. I talk to him almost daily. And I know you think I'm probably crazy, but I am not. And I know Cheryl, my wife, probably does too. But he tells me, he is all right with you taking time to rest. Why do you think he provides Sunday, which we've kind of lost complete what Sunday's meant to be? It's a day of rest. And we just think we need to continue. Just because society, the phone, this computer, whatever, allows me to work 24/7, I shouldn't have to, and I shouldn't want to. I should want to go out there and do something that makes a true difference. But we need to get back to where we don't have to work and don't feel guilty about it. I find that too, and I'm getting over that very quickly. I don't feel guilty if I'm having my, as Cheryl and I call, fancy coffee. It's hazelnut coffee. I don't. I like going to the Y. I like going and visiting people at coffee shops. I love talking. And that really amazes me very much, but I do. But we need to get where we're not needing to want to grind, and we don't need to, and that's why anybody who does that is almost immediately, I put up, it's like, I feel for those people because that's their mindset that they think to become successful. And the thing is, everything you have is from God. Everything. And everything you have can be taken away. So, because I was a good person. I paid my bills. I did everything. I was a really star, citizen. And then Cheryl's been having, all her health issues. And I'm not ever going to blame Cheryl for what she had went through. She went through hell and back and made her so much stronger. But you can't pay $85,000 bills from a hospital or whatever, or $11,000 Neulasta shots. And I didn't know if they have Neulasta anymore, but the shot worked. But it's just the cost was exorbitant. And then it's just like you just need to. I didn't know what I was going to do when we got those kind of bills, and I had health insurance. I had this non-affordable health care. Supposedly affordable care health. Not. And I'm not going to go there because I just got my thing for the next year, and my premium went up to, without help, almost $3,600. And that's why people can't do what they need to do, because they're scurrying trying to keep their health insurance. And there's really a lot of wrong with that. And I think I'm going to either drop health insurance, or I'm going to look at some local health insurance that's, I'm going to do my research, but I'm not going to do the Non-Affordable Care Act again. That is, should be shut down. Like I told my wife last night, you think you have health insurance. You don't. Because it's not what the deductible is, it's the maximum out-of-pocket expense. And this is getting negative, and I don't want to go there. I'm just saying I'm not going there. But that is another thing that our society, I don't know why we don't go and model the best health insurance in this world and up it even to be better, be the premium. We're supposed to be the best in the world. We're sure not the best in the world when it comes to healthcare in this country. And that, I think, is one thing that... you got those kind of expenses. So the parents have to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. And so then their kids have to go to daycare. It's a vicious cycle. And you struggle because you get huge bills that you cannot pay. 6-figure bills. It's just like, with that shot, I think the hospital said they agreed with the insurance company to pay $700 of that. Well, it was $10,000 and $1,000 to administer it. You know, yeah. So, and I just have a friend that just got a bill because his wife is going through something similar that Cheryl did, except a different kind of cancer. And he just got a bill for like $64,000, and they told him he was done. And we have found out that was Cheryl's folks, who passed away a few years ago. We're still getting bills from them from the hospitals. It's like, what kind of books do you run? Yeah, it's just like, so you're looking for money? It does make me wonder, but I think that is one thing we need to address. Those things, especially healthcare, so we can get people, home, so they don't have to be working all the time to pay for that, and maybe be able to pay for food, because there's people I know that are living on the line, and I do feel for them. Like I said in that one podcast, the gal that was at Walmart the other day, and her van was running like really badly, had windows taped up. I mean, I just can't even imagine. And I see so many people. And I remember when growing up, I never saw homeless people. I never saw people begging on the street. And I do. And I love Joyce Myers, and she always says she keeps cash on hand. To buy meals. She doesn't give them cash because she doesn't know what they'll do with it. But she says if they're hungry, she will, provide them a meal. And I'm of that same thinking too. Have cash so you can help those people. And maybe see if you can help them further on that too. But we need to get back at living in the moment. Get off your phone. You don't need to be on your phone all the time. Easier said than done, I know. But you'll regret it. And one thing, once you break that addiction, you kind of want to be away from that. I know when Cheryl and I kind of go, which we haven't for a little while, but when we go on trips, I mean, granted, I take pictures. I get that from my mother. She was noted for taking a lot of photos too, except she didn't have the technology I had, and have, I should say. And but I do. I love to share. I want to be an example of what's possible, and what Cheryl and I have been through, and what we're still digging out of. But what is possible, and that if I can do it, and Cheryl and I can do it, you can too. And but we just need to come together. We need to stop being antisocial. We are social animals. You need that contact, no matter if you think you don't. And you never know. That person might be the one that's going to help you out with your problem. Get out there and don't be scared. They have you so scared. These Ring doorbells and all this other camera stuff. And I'm not picking on Ring. There's other ones that are out there. And I think Rings work fine. But why do you need that? And we've got places around here where you can't go in their yards anymore. They've got it gated, it's gated because they're scared. And, pretty much not much goes on in this part of the world. Yeah, there's people out that do things, but I think that's everywhere. And always has been and always probably will be, because there's always that faction of, one thing, there's always that faction of negativity. Because you have to have negativity and positivity. And, but we need to get more positivity. And, we need to go out there and take somebody to the hospital, take somebody to a doctor appointment, pay for their meals. And what I don't like is seeing, this where they pay for the meals and they show it. Please don't do that anymore. If you're doing it, God knows you've been doing it, and that's good. I'm glad you're helping those people, and you give them a meal, but they're still on the streets. Let's help them further than that. And I mean, that's a tough problem to tackle, but let's do something besides just giving them food in front of your camera. And I have to watch myself not being guilty of that too. But I had to do this podcast because somebody said the other day that the biggest plus or gift coming up in the future is to be in the present, because we're never in the present. We're making the meal, we're watching our phone, we're doing this, there is to a point that, but I remember my parents having people almost over, at least weekly. My grandparents playing cards. They played a lot of cribbage, which Cheryl and I are learning now. I remember that as a kid, but she's never played it, which is awesome. We're playing more board games. It's kind of fun to get back into that and just not think about technology. And we played a lot of other games and had coffee and some awesome cookies my grandma had made. Both grandparents, they played a lot of cards, and they kind of got it. And I think we need to work our way back towards that. And maybe you're not a card player, but maybe there's something else you can do. There's a lot of things out there, but we need to get back into what's really important in this life, because I can tell you that it goes by so quickly. It just seems like I was 21. It seems like I just got out of college, and here I am 40 years later, because it'll be 40 years coming up in December. And yeah, it goes by very quickly. In fact, I just had a good friend pass away, and that kind of brings it all into perspective. Yeah, we're here only for a very short amount of time, so don't waste it on doom scrolling. And I know Cheryl and I like some of the reels on Instagram because they're very interesting and very inspirational, and I love, and I do share them. I do share them, and so I'm part of the problem there, but I want it to be part of the solution when I share those things. And yeah, so on that, we need to get back to what the United States used to be. And I think, and then whether you like Donald Trump for as president or not, I think he's doing a great job. And I'm an independent. Because Cheryl, with the Democrats, Cheryl and I were actually thinking about leaving the United States. And now I think we're looking, it's looking positive. I think we'll definitely stay here now and become part of the solution. And whether you like what he's doing or not, he is doing something. And I mean, it won't be right because no human is right 100% of the time, but he is taking action. And we needed so much action in these cities where the murders were going on every weekend and everything else that was bad. And whether you like it or not, that's my opinion. And I am independent because both sides have pluses. And I with the Democrats, I know they look at their way of taking care of people. I think it actually hurts them a lot of times, because when you just provide food, there's no incentive to actually move it further than that. Show them the way. Show them a way to make food, and provide the food when they're on that journey. And I think on that, I'm going to have some more of my coffee and get ready to go in. I'm going to meet Cheryl for lunch in just a little bit. She made an awesome artichoke pizza, which as a kid I would have thought sucked. But I love artichoke pizza. The first time we had that was out in Colorado a lot of years ago. And it's one of my favorite. Artichokes are strange things, but I love them. And in fact, most of the stuff on this pizza I would think was bad. But I'm blessed. And I want everybody to be blessed. And as we come together, we are going to come together, that this country will come back to one that I recognize. And that was another thing of the day. I told people that I was kind of going I'm not, AI's got pluses and minuses, and I'm not going AI. I mean, yeah, Riverside does it here, and there's other places, because AI can help, but AI's got a lot of dark sides. But like anything, you have to have the pluses and minuses, because if everything was good, you wouldn't know it was bad, and vice versa. If everything's bad, you need the polarization of both, so you know what is good and what's bad, or you get my gist there. And but yeah, we need to get back to a country that takes Sundays off, or Saturdays, whatever your religion is, and not feel guilty about it. Spend time with the family. Have friends over. Play cribbage. Play whatever board game. When Cheryl and I were out in the spring when the power went out because we had a blizzard, it was an awesome day. We played kids cribbage, or not cribbage. I can't remember what we were. Well, I will think of it later on. And that comes with age too. And I'm not going to say I'm old, because I'm working on not aging. I want to be an inspiration for that too. Forget your age. Go out and do Scrabble. That's the word I was looking for. And it was interesting game because it was tough. But yeah, forget your age. I say that every time. Go out and work out. Go out and do something. Go out and do something. Just start. Even if it's a little bit. Sometimes the hardest thing is starting. And don't forget your life is going by quickly. And you don't want to work at 24/7. That's not life. That's bondage. And I think too many people are in bondage in this country and maybe around the world. I don't know. I know there's other countries probably like that. But I'm glad there's so many people out there that are awesome too. They give me hope, and then God gives me hope every day. So, and I'm not gonna religious. I'm not. I'm spiritual. Um, and people ask if I go to church. I don't. I grew up as Methodist, and I there's too many churches that are chasing, and that's one thing God has told me many, many times. You don't chase. You become the person that attracts. Just like these churches, if they took God's word and what He's really like, they would have so many people being attracted to them rather than having to chase. So on that's as much as I'm getting into that. But I am going to end there. Thank you for joining me on the Dreamcatcher podcast. I wish you a blessed day. I always wish you the best. However, this food thing comes out starting on November 1st. Maybe look at it. I mean, I pray that we have enough food around because these kitchens, they're not going to have enough food. All these places that have the food, and that we all step up to the plate and help each other out. So on that, take care, and we'll be talking soon.